Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of This Week in Mobile. Join me, Ashley Esqueda, and my co-host Mike Hobbs as we talk about Gingerbread for Android, the release of the Nexus S, and we chat with Tom Horn of Tingo family. It's This Week in Mobile and it's happening right now. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of This Week in Mobile. I'm your host, Ashley Esqueda, and joining me as always in studio is my completely genius bar co-host, Mike Hobbs.
Hey, how's it going?
Mike Jobs.
Hey, how?
First mate, Apple.
Earl of Apple, I thought it was going to say.
Earl of Apple, yeah.
But it didn't.
And we have a guest today.
Yes.
We have two guests today. How exciting. We have another guest.
It's been a while.
I just want to tell everybody, it's really exciting. This is our third host.
Yeah.
We're introducing our third host today. And if you're ready, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I think we're ready. Go ahead, let's unveil the host. Here he is.
Can you see everybody?
It's Steve Jobs.
It's little Steve Jobs.
Tiny
Maybe I can move him
Steve.
into my,
Here, let's see. I was going to say, here we go. Yeah, there you go.
He's in my shot.
He's in your shot. You can pick him up.
Here's the little Steve Jobs figure.
He's going to give us feedback during the show, and he's going to say things like, you're holding it wrong, and...
DOA.
DOA.
Or DOA.
All kinds of stuff.
All kinds of Steve Jobs.
It's going to be great. Look at that thing. It's just so hilarious. I can't believe you got one.
I know.
They told him, you must cease and desist.
Apple didn't like them make
Apple cut them off, but you got one.
But I got one.
Because you're awesome.
Just before.
So I also have to let you guys know that we also have Tom Horn of Tingo family on the show today. He's going to talk to us about his app that helps families sort of keep in touch and keep tabs on each other.
Now, he's a real person.
He is, in fact, a real person, and he will be Skyping in from Australia.
Oh, that's cool.
Pretty nice, if you ask me. I mean, I wish I lived in Australia.
It's a long flight.
That is kind of a long flight. I'm going to take this from you because I'm missing a page.
Oh, dear.
You can just guess what happens next.
I have it on my iPad if you need it.
The reason why is because I wanted to let you guys know that you can follow us on Twitter. I'm going to say it right up at the front of the show. You can follow the show at TWI_mobile. TWI_mobile. Yep. And you can email us your thoughts at mobile@thisweekend.com. And of course, rate and subscribe our shows at www.youtube.com/show/thisweekinmobile. Yeah. All one word.
And we'd love to get those emails, so.
Yeah, we do love getting emails, so send us some, because we haven't got it yet.
Don't tell them that part.
And also a huge thank you to Storm On Demand for making thisweekend.com possible. If you watch all of our content, it's because of Storm On Demand. Visit stormondemand.com and learn more about cloud computing. Before we get into news, though, Mike, I want to talk to you about something that I know is a little known fact about you. And last week I shared a little secret about me. But, you know, Mike has been rumored to have fathered more illegitimate children than I can count all around the globe. What do you have anything to say about that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, whatever. So for the longest time, though, he couldn't call them because if you call one...
Then you have to call them all, don't you?
You do, and doesn't that get expensive?
Maybe.
That's why you don't call them. So, but guess what? Mike's bastard children can now rejoice because he's using Vopium. He's using Vopium to call them internationally. Vopium lets you make super cheap international calls. It's 90% off of your regular charges. It will reroute your international call as a local call to Vopium, who then makes your international call for you. You would pay Vopium super cheap rates and for your international call, and then you pay AT&T for your local call, Mike. And if you call on a Wi-Fi network, it's free.
That's the way it should be.
You can call all 20 of your kids.
Try to make a difference in their lives, maybe, if I can.
Maybe you should, you should call. And if you want to get in on the action, or if you have illegitimate children internationally, you can download Vopium's mobile app for free. It's in the Apple App Store, the Android Market, Nokia's OV Store, and BlackBerry App World. And when you sign up, you get 15 minutes of call time and 30 international SMS messages for free. So what do you wait? Mike, I'm so glad you started using Vopium.
I know.
Those kids finally have a father. And what are you waiting for, people? Vopium.com, Vopium.com. Mike, it's time for the news.
Yay.
So some interesting news this week. Big news for Google.
Big googly news.
Big Google news. Yeah. Lots of Google. Google gets Gingerbread out of the oven. 2.3 for Android is now official, and also a new phone, the Nexus S, that we had talked about.
Yeah.
You know, Steve, obviously, I hear you over there, but you know, you don't have to yell. It's really inappropriate.
He's mad.
Yeah, I can see he's very upset. There's no need for that kind of language. Google's worst kept secret obviously went live this week. They've officially taken Gingerbread out of the oven, and Android 2.3 comes with the Nexus S. Let's talk about the Nexus S. I mean, 2.3 in and of itself, there's some minor user interface changes.
Right.
There's already some people trying to get it on ROMs.
Right, because it's
which is great.
I mean, as of now, you can only get it on this.
Only get it on the Nexus S. There were some reports that the Nexus 1 would get it the same day, but it looks like it's a few weeks out. So we're going to see it probably before the end of the year. I'm imagining the Nexus 1 will have it before the 1st.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. But let's talk about the Nexus S, because there's been a pretty big response. A lot of people very divided on this phone. A lot of people really excited about it, and a lot of people saying this is underwhelming.
Interesting.
To say the least.
I've heard mostly excitement about it, or pleasure with the device, I would say.
Happiness? General happiness with the device?
Yeah.
Well, it's got a 4-inch screen, so it's got an Evo-size screen.
Well, you know, we have a video. Do you want to look at the video?
We do have a video of it. Let's check out the Nexus S. So it's an interesting little device.
Okay.
You know what I didn't see on that?
No.
A micro SD slot. And I've heard some back and forth about people. I don't physically have an Nexus S, so Google, if you want to send me one so I can take a look at it, I'd be more than happy to check it out. But I've heard back and forth. I haven't seen a definitive answer yet, and that's my own failing. I should probably have just emailed Google, but I haven't seen a definitive answer. If anyone in our chat room knows if it has a micro SD slot, I think it only has 16 gigs of onboard, and that's it.
That's surprising.
Which would be kind of a bummer, especially for developers, because that's really what it's supposed to be, a development phone.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Right, fine. That's fine. I mean, I don't miss removable memory on my iPhone, obviously.
See, EKG says no micro SD. That's it.
That's fine.
That's all you get. If you're a developer, 16 gigs isn't a lot, though.
It's a lot for what?
I mean, if you're using it as a phone and also as a development device.
That's enough.
That's tough.
I think it's plenty. But, I mean, it has, I think it's a nice looking.
Oh, I think it's beautiful. The contour display is gorgeous. I told you the screen was curved.
Well, I'm still trying to determine this, because it looks like that the actual panel, the LCD panel, that's not curved. That's still flat. The glass, the touch surface is curved.
It called it a contour display.
I know, but if you look at, I don't think the LCD is curved.
Do you know what's going to solve this?
A picture?
Google needs to send us one.
That too. But if you look at the press shots, there was one of the press shots where you can kind of see the screen from the side, and I'm pretty sure the screen itself is flat, but it still looks neat.
Also, anti-fingerprint display coating. That's
which
nice.
iPhone has had. That's nice.
Which is very nice.
Oleophobic.
A gyroscope.
Yeah, which the iPhone has had.
Very nice. And near-field communications.
That's one on the iPhone.
That's a new, interesting thing. You're going to be able to boop, pay for stuff.
Or just like, you get the phone, or get information about products. Or things, just by getting, you don't have to scan
this
anything.
is a big thing. Like, the APIs for this are supposed to be insane, where, like, let's say you're walking down the street, and all of a sudden, because of NFC, like, a little ad comes up and is like, hey, come over to, Joe's Cafe and get 20% off, like, if you walk in. And, I mean, it's going to be crazy. They're going to this NFC thing is going to integrate with Yelp and with, I mean, a lot of the check-in software is just going to get nuts with this. And I'm very excited about it. And then also the gaming APIs on Gingerbread have really, a lot of people are saying they're really excited about them. They look like they're expanding it quite a bit. And also that there's some API for PlayStation controls.
Yes. But what does that mean?
Well, the PlayStation phone's coming out.
But does that mean it will only be on the PlayStation phone? Or does that indicate that then these PlayStation games are going to be across other Android phones?
That's a really good question. I can't wait to see what the answer to that is. It'll be really interesting. Really interesting. I want to talk about the Palm Pre community, because we don't often talk about WebOS anymore, because really they kind of haven't released any phones recently. I mean, the Palm Pre 2, like I'm assuming they had that in the works long before HP.
We're waiting.
I mean,
we're waiting
for the next generation of WebOS phones. But if you have ever experienced the WebOS community, when I had a Pre, the Homebrew community was amazing. I mean, they were making apps, and it was so easy to put in Homebrew apps on your Pre.
Yes.
And it was great. And there was a guy named Jason Robitaille who is with Canuck Coding. He's his own person.
They sound Canadian.
That's it. Maybe connect coding. And then WebOS internals, which is staff of about 15 people, they both offer their wares on Homebrew. And they offer a really great WebOS installer. I mean, really amazing stuff. And it's mostly free. Like, everything is mostly free. And so they were looking for development devices, which aren't really cheap. And so especially for 15 people. And the pre-community came together in a huge way and raised over $8,000 for them.
That's too much.
They bought everybody a dev unit, and they've already put money away for any future tablets, for example, or anything like that.
Yeah,
so
those dev units are what? They're like $500 or something.
Yeah, it's like
that.
$549 for a. I mean, most of them, if you get a phone unlocked and without contract,
What are they going to do with that extra money?
they're going to save it, and they're going to put it towards server upgrades and things like that, which I think is fantastic. They're really giving back to the community.
Drugs.
I mean, drugs.
Drugs.
That's how you would spend that money, Michael Hobbs.
All right.
I'm kind of excited about this because it's so weird.
It's scary.
I don't even know what to say to this. If you're familiar with what an Easter egg is, obviously it's something fun, entertaining. It's a little tidbit usually left by a developer. There have been some more infamous Easter eggs in the history, like the hot coffee mod for Grand Theft Auto.
Don't remember that one.
That was a big deal. They wanted to make the game adults only because of it. It was very graphic. Anyway, I'm not really sure who was supposed to be amused or delighted by this, but it was me. Some crazy dev threw in this art as this Easter egg in Gingerbread. It's sort of awesome and terrifying. This is what it looks like.
I would fire that guy immediately.
I love this guy.
He's
And the thing
obviously
is
on a lot of
that would
drugs.
never fly. You're right, Steve. That would never fly at Apple. You would fire that guy right away.
Yeah.
Steve says that guy would no longer work for Apple.
Now, where is this image hidden?
God, it's like this big long thing, like there's a big long string of things, but it's really creepy, and I think it's very amazing. Yeah, the walking ginger dead, I like that a lot. Perfect. Robin Hood has nailed it.
Why
The
do
walking
they have?
ginger
Why do
dead.
the zombies have hot dogs?
They have cell phones.
Oh, the cell
They're
phones.
cell phones. They're all on a cell phone.
They're hot dogs.
I love the gingerbread. I want to get a tattoo of that scary gingerbread man.
man.
That's awesome. I have sad news for Windows Phone 7 users.
What?
This is a new development and a kind of bad.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, Pandora, everybody's favorite internet radio app, went on Twitter and said they had no plans for Windows Phone 7 client. Well, but here's the problem. You might say, but they were listed as a launch partner.
No, they said
You're right. Not impressed.
Yeah.
But the community freaked out, and of course, Pandora backtracked a little bit and
Which
said that
community?
the
Windows
Twitter
Phone?
community had a heart attack. Yeah, and the Windows Phone community had a heart attack too. They said, as of right now, they're not sure when or if they'll be on Windows Phone 7.
That's surprising. I mean, does it really cost that much to develop a Pandora for Windows 7?
You know, it's got to be. Here's the thing. There was a contest earlier this week for developers at a conference to develop an app, like a specific type of app.
Yeah.
And Windows Phone 7 won hands down, and it was this beautiful, like, really nicely done app.
Oh, so you
it was
mean-
very easy to develop for. So
Right.
I can't imagine that this is about being difficult to develop.
Right, so what is it?
So what is it? I mean, somebody had suggested that it might be because of the no background play on Windows Phone 7 right now, but I can't imagine that's the case, because
No.
if they're working on an update that solves that problem.
Well, and then also when Pandora on iPhone, when it first launched, didn't play in the
Didn't-
background.
yeah,
and
exactly.
people were like, oh, that sucks.
So
Maybe they're just not impressed with the Windows
anybody-
Phone 7 sales.
yeah, exactly. Well, Last FM, that works.
So I don't know.
I agree. That's a complete opportunity for a complete opportunity for some company to swoop right in and take all those Windows Phone 7 users.
We should talk to them.
I would, maybe we should call Tom. He was on This Week in Android.
Tom
Conrad, the
Conrad.
vice president of Pandora.
Absolutely.
We should just
We'll
call
get
him
him
up.
on the horn.
Tom, if you're watching, call me.
Not this stuff.
Oh, Mike,
Yeah.
your carrier, not of choice,
Not of choice, but of necessity.
but of necessity.
Yes.
Anybody who spends any time on the internet or talking to real people know that AT&T seems to get a lot of grief as a carrier, and that's sort of an understatement.
Yep.
A recent survey by Consumer Reports has confirmed this. They have been ranked last in 8 out of 9 categories, including voice and data service, value, and customer support. Of the four major carriers here in the United States, Verizon came out on top. We have a picture of this
There's
graph.
a graphic here.
Quite amazing here. You can see you got U.S. Cellular up top. Pretty good job.
Never heard of them.
I've heard of U.S.
I
Cellular.
know, we don't use them
But then,
in
yeah.
California.
Verizon Wireless is up there with the 74. Big surprise. Sprint, 73, right behind Verizon. Come back a long way from the almost dead from about 5-6 years ago.
True.
Very, very great.
And AT&T with the power of the iPhone down at the bottom, they can't do anything.
Oh, look at that. It's just all black dots except for one. Except for texting, which is still worse. Half a black dot. That's just nasty.
So, I don't know. Oh, and then...
Yikes.
So, yeah, AT&T fired back with the... We still have the best coverage in the United States kind of statement.
Which is still not correct.
It's in terms of numbers,
they have the best
true.
coverage in terms of
where
they have coverage,
right?
But there's not a lot of that coverage.
Right.
And for everybody else, we will drop your calls, ignore you, and don't really care about you.
Well, they got bad customer service.
Yeah,
that's where
real bad customer
let people
terrible.
down. I mean,
so AT&T, pick up the slack, guys. Come on.
But I think
Give it the program.
It's a little bit late.
Right, it might be a little too late. Might be.
Yeah.
Apple ousting here, Steve. This is a story for you. You should be reading this.
Yeah.
You'll really like it.
You like this?
Apple has ousted Nokia's king of Australia Mobile, and we have a company from Australia today, Tingo, based in that's very convenient.
Yeah.
IDC Australia just released its mobile device tracker data for the third quarter, and it looks like Apple now has a 36.5% market share in the land down under.
That's crazy.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
Almost 40%.
Yeah, almost
40%
out of from nowhere from the last 3 years.
Great. Yeah. Took over the top spot from Nokia. First time since 2002, Nokia's been ousted.
Yeah, kind of a surprise that. Yeah. And Palm, it used to be Palm before Nokia was Palm.
Well, Palm was a huge deal, like 10 years ago. Huge. And like elsewhere in the world, Android obviously making huge gains.
It's blowing up, as the kids say.
It's exploding. Yep, it's blowing up, as the kids like to say. Fast and dramatic gains, having increased its market share in Australia 10 times in 9 months.
Yeah.
That's a lot of market share increase. Craziness.
It's mental.
Oh yeah, somebody just said another Apple news for you. Now developers can distribute promo codes worldwide. Yeah, I found out about that today.
Oh, is that so?
There is Tak Fung from Mini Squadrons. I'm like, my brain is not functioning. Mini Squadrons, he said he was really excited about that.
Ah, that's great.
Because now he gets to send promo codes. And there's like 3 or 4 people today who was like, I'm so excited I get to send promo codes now to everybody instead of just the US, which is awesome.
That's good for developers and that.
I have more Sprint news. Besides the Consumer Reports thing.
Right.
Sprint, which I'm very excited about, has no plans for tiered data right now.
Yeah.
At this time.
They're going to try to be the
different one.
Yeah.
Be a little different. There's been a lot of speculation. We talked about it a lot at the beginning of This Week in Mobile when we started as to when they would jump ship and start charging for tiered data, especially when the Evo was launched. I mean, that was like, the big thing. Oh, it's going to be tiered data. But apparently not currently in the cards. Dan Hesse had said he wanted his customers to pay a premium for simplicity, like the $10 4G fee, which is awesome.
Which they're being sued about.
Yes, they are being sued about it. I'm very curious to see how that goes. If anybody doesn't know, Sprint, or Clearwire, technically, / Sprint, has been sued for that $10 a month 4G fee. Because here's the thing, like a lot of people who live in areas that don't have 4G, which is the majority of Sprint users who have an Evo or an Epic, they are being charged $10 a month for a premium data charge, even though they're still on a 3G network. This is including me. I mean, I don't really have 4G unless I'm here in LA.
Right. But
where I live, I don't have 4G at all.
Yeah.
And I probably never will. And so I don't see 3G making it out there, or 4G making it out there.
Right.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, they're getting sued, and I find it very interesting. GamerCore, Chris Chavez on Twitter, he had said, he's like, I pay this amount of money, and then I have, 4 other people on my family plan that I also pay $10 because that's an extra $50 a month somebody's paying for their bill.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
If they're not using that data at all.
Right, it's silly.
So, although Android was the number one, like they are hoarding data right now. Like that was one of the things that I read earlier this week.
Probably doing illegal things.
No, that is not true.
What are they doing?
Don't listen to Steve,
They're probably torrenting a bunch of amateur hour video clips.
Shut up.
I don't know what's going on there.
No, shut up. I'm not even going to listen to this. I am not even going to listen to this. All right. Well, but at the end of the day, I mean, I think this is good news for Sprint users anyway.
And also, I think the iPhone's coming to Sprint. They just put that out there now.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You really think so?
Well, think of someone, Joanna Stern asked Dan Hesse, the Sprint guy, if it's coming, and he didn't completely deny.
Interesting.
iPhone might be coming to Sprint.
Really?
You heard it
I know
here,
that there was
second or third.
Second or third. You didn't hear it here first.
But close.
But, well, let me ask you a question about that then, because there was another story saying that Verizon was trying to bid to keep the iPhone off of Sprint and T-Mobile.
Oh, maybe that's just some...
But a CDMA, here's the
just,
thing,
yeah.
a CDMA iPhone would make a lot of sense, and here's why.
Yes.
Because it doesn't require a SIM card.
Right.
Neither does the iPhone. I mean, well, it's not removable.
Right.
Anyway.
We'll
So it'd be
see.
very interesting.
We shall see.
Oh, interesting. Steve, do you have anything to comment on? No? All right. Mike, let's talk about your game of the week.
Okay, I'm gonna... Hey, game of the week. I'm gonna launch it. I meant to launch it because it has to load.
That's okay. Well, let's talk about it. We don't have a video of this. So
No. This
obviously,
is,
last week we said that the game of the week would be Infinity Blade.
if it was up to snuff,
If it was up to snuff, and is it?
it came out, it's up to snuff, it's awesome.
It's awesome. Okay, well, let's take a look on the iPad cam. Let's see what this looks like.
Obviously, this is a, I don't know, this is a universal app.
Oh, look at how pretty that is.
This is a universal app. $5.99 works on both your iPad and iPhone, but we're showing it on iPad just for ease of demonstration.
Well, it looks very beautiful on the screen.
On the camera.
Steve, you must be very proud.
Steve, this is a AAA title. You should be really excited. This is Infinity Blade, so it's
Yeah.
from Share Entertainment Group and Epic Games.
Turn him this way so he can look at the camera.
This uses the
You're
Unreal
an
Engine.
Inferno Paladin.
It uses the Unreal Engine.
And we all know we love the Unreal Engine.
So basically, you don't travel around anywhere. You can look around, and then your goal, what you're doing mostly, is fighting people.
Okay.
You're playing this character trying to avenge your father's death. Whenever you get to the final enemy, you will almost definitely die until you play through a bunch of times.
Okay.
So you get to play through again and again, leveling up each time.
You just got smashed.
Okay, so the gameplay, I'll try to do this here. You can block, you can swipe, you can parry, and you can stab. So once you block an attack, then you have an opening to get some attacks in.
Oh, this is very cool. I'm very impressed with this.
So like,
that circle system kind of reminds me of Castlevania.
If you time your dodge or block correctly, you can get this circle, and then you can get in some attacks.
This is almost like a fighter.
It is. It's like a one-on-one fighting game. Yeah, see, I parried. If you time your strikes right in time, you'll parry their hit, and then you can get in a bunch of attacks and really hurt them.
Oh, get him! Get him!
And you stagger them.
Oh, he's mad now. He's really upset. You
Oh, I
stabbed
parried
him.
again. I parried again.
Scratch, scratch, scratch.
And you have to parry in the direction, so you have to like watch his animation, see which direction he's parrying. Yeah.
Oh, like that. That was good. That was really good.
And then as you're fighting, you build up magic, which you can use. You draw like a gesture. It does like a magic attack.
Oh.
Which is awesome.
Somebody just said, finish him.
I'm getting close.
Can you rip his head off with his spinal column like in Mortal Kombat?
No, you can't do anything like that.
Well, that's a shame.
He's almost dead on my
Oh, there's nothing. Oh, that's right, Steve. There's nothing like that allowed in the App Store.
Finishing, and then once he's dead, you can swipe the heck out of him and get a finishing bonus. And then
Victory!
what keeps you playing is that you get to level up all the time. You get experience, your equipment levels up, you get to buy new equipment.
Oh.
Your equipment.
So it's sort of like a one-on-one fighter RPG.
Exactly.
That's really
It's
interesting.
like an action RPG, and you have money and items.
Steve, you're right. You are absolutely right. This is a AAA title. Mike, he's impressed. Steve says he's so impressed with you.
And so look, this is the end. And then there are like hidden items around, which if you look around and click on things, you can pick up like extra money and potions.
Oh, very
And this
cool.
is how you navigate. You just go to the next point.
And it gives you a little cutscene. Oh, that's interesting. Not what I thought it was going to be, but
Right.
very interesting.
But the design is terrific. The fighting action
Well,
is
it's
really
beautiful.
addicting and fun. The
Well,
combo
that is
system,
awesome.
it's great. $5.99.
$6.
The graphics are incredible.
$6 will get you Infinity Blade.
Yeah, and you can play it on both,
$6.
on your iPhone and iPad and iPod Touch.
Which is great.
Newer generation ones, it won't run, obviously, on older
obviously.
3G.
You have to have 4. You have to have iOS 4.
I think it runs on 3GS. 3GS and 4.
Okay.
But no
Well,
3G.
$6 gets you a pretty good title. I mean, that's really impressive.
It's
Looks
awesome.
amazing.
So that's from Epic Games and Share Entertainment Group. Donald Mustard, the people that made Shadow Complex on Xbox Live, which is another awesome game.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. You should shut that off.
I will silence it now.
Let's talk about our interview of the week. I'm excited.
This is
about
cool,
this.
yeah.
So, our app this week is a family-oriented app. It is Tingo Family for the iPhone. We have a video of what the app does. Let's watch it.
With location tracking and up-to-date maps, you can see your whole family at a glance.
So it's really neat. You can see where your family is, you can add people and everything. And with us via Skype is Tom Horn with Tingo Family Development Team. How are you doing, Tom?
Very well, thanks, Ashley.
Thank you so much for being with us. I know this is your day off. It's Saturday in Australia already.
That's okay. It's a beautiful day down here, but yeah, happy to be on the show. So.
And we love developers with accents. So this is like an 11 for us out of 1 to 10. Great. So we're really excited. And this is a great app. I mean, it's really, really cool. We want to ask you, give us the elevator pitch on Tingo Family. Like if you got an elevator with somebody and someone said, well, what is that? What's your 60-second pitch before they get out of the elevator?
Okay. Well, I guess Tingo Family, it's a mobile and web application to help you keep your family safe. It will automatically track the location of your kids and you as well, if you so desire. It provides robust SMS-like messaging, so you can communicate in real time, with the added benefit of a fully fledged web application, so you can chat with your family from your desktop computer. If a family member gets into trouble, they can use the assistance mode to let you know fast. They can send their location, photos, messaging, which are all forwarded to the people who care about them most. So yeah, that's basically the idea.
Very cool. And like let's show a little bit of Tingo here. Like we have it on Mike's. I have Mike's iPhone in my hand, which it feels like it's going to start blistering, but I'll just have to do. So this is the home screen here. If I want to check in, I can go ahead and do that. And it'll go ahead and give you a little notification at the bottom that'll send it to everybody in your family saying like, here's where I am, here's what I'm doing. And then you also have your family here, so you can see where everybody is and their availability and everything and their contact details. And then you have messages. So earlier, Mike sent me a message and said, hello, are you safe? And I said that I was good and I was just wandering through Compton and there are some really nice people there. And then on the map, you can see this is where Mike is right here. And so you can, check things out. You can send him a message. You can view his messages. You can send him an email. And I think this is a really great thing. And you just sent me a message from me.
Yep.
You're checked it as me. So it says, Ashley says help. It gives you a push notification. Obviously, I'm in some kind of distress. So here, I'll go ahead and view that. And there's the message right there from me saying help.
Yep.
But it's really great. It's really simple and so straightforward and just something that is really easy for a family to use. I definitely think that this is something that a lot of people should be using. And so...
Thanks very much.
Tom, what would your favorite feature of Tingo Family be?
I guess, although having the automatic tracking is really compelling, I think the killer feature for me is actually the messaging framework that the SMS-like messages, but also the assistance mode is built on. And I'll give you the reason why. Here at Cognithos, we have a company family account that we all log into to test the application. And when someone's testing the assistance mode, basically everyone's phone buzzes and beeps simultaneously, and that sort of and that always gives me a sort of a kick of satisfaction, because the idea that when someone gets into trouble and that messaging will get sort of broadcast their location and anything they want to say to everyone in their family, and so that for me it's that instant messaging sort of framework that we've got for the app.
Well, let's, Mike. I want to show everybody the tap and hold in emergency. So if we are looking at this, there's a tap and hold here, and it'll go ahead and fill up the bar, and then once that's done, it'll say notifying your family. You can take pictures to let people know what's going on. Like, let's say there's a riot, and you got to take pictures of stuff, and it's just crazy. Or you can send them a message, which would be here. And so, there's that. And then you can also, call for assistance sent. So Mike should be receiving something.
Oh.
Do you have that on your iPad? Do you want to show everybody what it looks like?
It came up here on this is the web version. So this is kind of what you would see if you're on a laptop.
Right, which is really amazing because there's no you can use this carrier and phone agnostic. If you don't have an iPhone right now, because it's only available for iPhone, you can still use it on the web. You can still use it, and it's very functional and very fast. I mean, the SMS system is very, very quick and responsive.
That's it.
It's almost instantaneous, which is really important in case of an emergency. So how does I'm very curious about this. how does Tingo family try to instill sort of feelings of trust in the app? And how are you guys at Cognithos attempting to make it appealing to, for example, teenagers who have to agree to have this app installed on their phone and agree to keep it running and not uninstall it? And, you know, I'm very curious as to, you know, what you guys are doing to sort of make this friendly enough to say, hey, like, this is, you know, you're not being policed like in 1984. Like, this is not Big Brother.
Yeah.
So how, you know, what are you guys doing to make it more appealing to people who might not necessarily want to be tracked by their parents?
Yep. Well, that's a great question. I mean, I guess for the in terms of security, we use HTTPS everywhere from the phone and also from the website. So the family data is secure and only available to you. So it's a walled garden. In terms of getting teens to use the app, which is probably our most important demographic. We've had a lot of great, really positive feedback, actually, ironically, from our users, basically allowing parents to have more freedom with their kids because they've got that reassurance that basically whether or not their kids run the app or not, their location is being tracked in the background, so they don't have to run the app at all. It's always basically showing you where they are. And they've also got this opportunity to make deals with their kids, like you can go to the party tonight, but you've got to check in at 10 o'clock, sort of that sort of thing. So the kids are, there's definitely a positive feedback sort of because they're able to have more freedom basically because of the app. So we're really excited about that.
That's a really good way to look at it. I think if you know, if you're a teenager, you want to hear you're going to get more freedom by you know just having this with you. I mean, like that was, and that, you know, it's funny, like that was how my mom, like that was how I got more freedom. When I turned 16, my mom took me down to Sprint, got me a cell phone, and said, "You can go wherever you want as long as I know where you are, and you don't lie to me. And if you do, everything gets taken away." I got my keys to my car. And I got a phone, and she said, "Don't ever have it off. I want to be able to contact you." And I think this is very much so a next generation version of that, where it's, you know, you can go out and you can go out with your friends, just as long as, like you said, Tom, you check in at a certain time. And so I know where you are, and I know that you're safe. And if you're not safe, you have that ability to say help, like, you know, and you don't have to call or you don't have to fumble through, you know, if there's something happening, your adrenaline's pumping so hard, you might not have the wherewithal about you, your wits about you to really dial your parents' phone number. You might just and then pressing a button and holding it, that's a lot easier. So I really think that that's sort of the next generation version of this sort. I like the idea of it being more freedom for a teenager as opposed to less. So that's really smart.
Yep.
Mike, do you have any questions?
Oh, well, I think I'll ask Tom. Tom, currently it's a free service, this Tingo family, which is pretty nice. But do you have any plans to maybe move to a paid model in the future, or a subscription base maybe?
We want people to be really happy with it. I mean, I guess it's a new idea, so we want people to be really happy and comfortable with the service before we roll out the paid service. We're sort of constantly working on the application. In fact, probably in the next week, we'll be submitting a new version with a totally revamped user interface. Like, we got a lot of really great feedback from the early users, and I think the new UI looks really great. So while we're in that cycle of constant improvement, until that sort of stabilizes, we're keeping it free. Once we are sort of happy with it and we're getting all positive feedback from everyone, then we're going to roll out basically a subscription service. It's going to be really cheap, like less than $2 a month, which is sort of an order of magnitude less than anything like this out there at the moment. And you can choose to do that. Or if you want to keep using it for free, you can. You'll be able to use it for free and have the messaging and also the assistance mode, which I think is pretty important. But you just won't have the automatic location tracking in the background once we bring out the paid service. I think for $2 a month, it's worth it.
Definitely. Well, that's less than a cup of coffee for most people.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what's your family's safety worth?
Yeah,
and that's for your whole family, not just per device. It's actually, no matter how many devices you've got, that'll be a flat rate. So
very cool. Well, Mike, you can put all of your illegitimate children on Tingo, and you'll know where they are all the time.
Yeah, exactly. As long as they're in the States.
No, because it's
that's true. No, you're right.
No, you'll know where they are. In Australia, there are iPhones, and they can have it there. I mean, I know you have at least twins in Australia. The twins.
That I know of.
That you know of.
Yes. Oh. So, well, Tom, you mentioned some UI enhancements coming. Well, where do you see the app maybe in a year's time, and maybe next year with faster networks, even?
Yeah, well, I guess as devices improve, yeah, the location stuff will improve. We think it's really good now, but you can only foresee that's getting better. We're sort of in negotiation with a company that makes little GPS devices that just stand alone, so it's sort of the size of a box of matches that you can stick in a kid's bag and they won't necessarily have to have an iPhone. We're hoping to ship Android before Christmas.
Yay!
Yeah, I thought you'd like that. And I guess scale. I mean, we just want to get the word out and get people using the app. So yeah, they're sort of. I think I'm with this new version. I'm really excited about the new user interface, and I think that's it's pretty close to being stable, which is really good.
Well, Tom, so you have the Android version in the works. You're hoping to get that out before the new year.
Yep.
And also, are there any plans to bring Tingo to BlackBerry or Windows Phone 7 in the near future, or is that something that you're sort of I'm going to verb this, Pandoraing and saying, well, we don't know if or when in the future, but maybe, like, depending on the demand for it. You know, do you guys have plans for that?
Yeah, well, I mean, with BlackBerry, probably, although we've actually got some experience with BlackBerry development, where we're probably not going to go in that direction, just because the demographics are a little bit different, I think, with the business users. But Windows Phone 7, absolutely, they just rolled out in Australia in the last month or so, and I'm really impressed with the devices. And I think we'll wait until there's sort of the numbers to support it. But I'm pretty confident in our ability to sort of quickly build a client for the Phone 7. We've got lots of Windows development experience. So,
right, and we've heard a lot of good things about how easy and fast it is to build an app for Windows Phone 7. So, well, that's cool. Well, gosh, that's all it's coming to Android. That's all the time we have with you, and you should go enjoy that beautiful day in Australia. It's nighttime for us. There's nothing for us to do. Like, we're just kind of hanging out with Steve over here.
That's Friday night.
It is. Well, it's Saturday.
Thanks very much for having us.
So they're ahead of us.
Right. Well, I mean, for us, it's Friday
it's Friday night, I guess. We don't do it. We're boring on Friday nights. We don't do it.
Don't tell people this.
I know. It's terrible. We go and have dinner. There's no going out. Maybe Smod cancel.
Let people think we go out and do crazy things.
Mike goes out and somebody asked in the chat room, these legit children, am I making this up? And someone said they thought I was telling the truth. And really all I can say to that is, we'll never know.
It's flattering, thank you.
Well, Tom, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about Tingo Family. Somebody recognized you from Twist.
Oh,
Somebody said, hey, he was on Twist. And we really think that Tingo Family is interesting and important in terms of family tracking. I know I don't have kids, but I know if I did, I would want them to have something like this if they had a cell phone, because I would want to know where they are.
Tabs on them, you can see their little things moving around.
Yeah, and I would love to have, when 4G really has proliferated through the whole country, I'd love to have, like, video streaming, like, so you can see what they're doing.
They'd love that.
Flip on their camera and see what is going on and catch them in a Miley Cyrus moment.
And then go rush out and
kill them.
No.
Hit them with a shovel.
No.
But I really think that a lot of people should go out there. If you've got a family and you want to keep tabs on them, or even if you're really close with your friends, you can make an account and have, keep track of your friends. You gotta, especially if your friends live in unseemly neighborhoods, you gotta watch out for them.
True.
But it's free, so go out and get it, and you can sign up for an account at tingofamily.com.
Yep.
And on the Apple App Store, you can search for Tingo. Tom, again, thank you so much. Tom Horn of Cognitos.
Thanks, Ashley. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, we really appreciate having you on. Go enjoy that beautiful day in Australia. And that is Tingo Family for the iPhone. And Android, hopefully, in a few weeks.
Yep, few weeks. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Mike, that's all the time we have for the show today. Wait, what's that?
What's Steve?
What, Steve? What were you saying?
What did Steve say?
We're holding it wrong. I think we're holding it wrong.
Oh, so he's referring
he said you're holding me wrong, so I'm going to put him back down.
Put him down.
I think I just attenuated Steve Jobs.
I'll be handling Steve here.
I bet you will. Well, this is awkward. That's all the time we have for the show today, ladies and gentlemen. I would like, of course, to thank our sponsor, Vopium. International calls, 90% off, Vopium.com. As always, we'd like to thank our guest, Tingo Family, and Tom Horn of Cognithos, who makes Tingo Family. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And as always, our loyal viewers, thank you for coming into the chat room and talking with us about Mike's illegitimate children and making jokes about Miley Cyrus, because you give me a reason to live. And Storm On Demand for making all of this possible to see online. You can watch previous episodes of the show, thisweekend.com/mobile.
There.
Yeah, right there. And if you want to follow me and Mike on Twitter, I'm Android Ashley. Mike is Valis23.
Big time.
Big time. And the show is TWI_mobile. If you're using an iPhone or an iPad, you can go get the This Week In app and watch our shows, all of them. And we do have many glorious shows.
Myriad shows.
A plethora, if you will. Be sure to check out all of the great content we have on This Weekend. You can subscribe to our YouTube page at youtube.com/thisweekend. And actually, all of the shows now have glorious, beautiful, redesigned channel pages.
It's real
so now
nice
you can
looking.
subscribe to just the show if you would like, which means if you're not interested in This Week in Venture Capital, but you want to subscribe to This Week in Movies, or if you don't want to see This Week in Comedy, which you should because it's very, very funny, but you want to see health and wellness, then you can subscribe individually to shows now, which is awesome. Yeah. So go check it out and rate the shows and comment on them. And we love your comments.
Good and bad.
There's a ton of great stuff, and we promise we won't disappoint you. On behalf of everybody here at the This Week in Network, I'm Ashley Sketha.
I'm Mike Hobbs.
And that's Steve Jobs, and that's This Week in Mobile. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.